Speedsters in animated movies are always fun to watch, defying the odds and pushing the envelope on what's possible. The first example of speed comes from the movie DC Super Pets, where the turtle does something out of character. This is no ordinary turtle. When's the last time you saw something move this fast? Now, I actually love the sound effects here. This is going to be something you're going to have to pay attention to when you watch this video. Whenever there's a speedster in a film, it's not only the visuals that make the character and scene epic, but also the sound effects. So keep that in mind. We can hear each thud that the feet of the turtle make. This is pretty chilling and a great attention to detail. The speed here is incredible that I would go as far as to compare this to Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, this turtle is giving Sonic a run for his money because it is also leaving trails behind. I don't know about you, but there's no way a human being would be able to keep up with that thing. Earlier in the film, the turtle was really slow, but powers were granted, making this a new speedster. Yo, so before we move on to the next entry, doesn't this scene remind you of the shell from Mario? Anyways, let's move on. One of my favorite examples of speed comes from the first Incredibles, where Dash simply runs away in real time. Everything is so fast-paced that you can't help but sit and just watch in awe. The animation is stellar. Now keep in mind this movie came out decades ago, so the computer technology wasn't at its peak yet, but we still got a cool scene of Dash running ridiculously fast. Also notice how they aren't doing a slow motion run. They are showing us in real time what is happening on screen, which I actually prefer in this case because it makes the threat seem more realistic, as opposed to if Dash was just running slowly through some weird time loop taking his time. We feel the pressure of the scene and the stakes are high. For crying out loud, the villains in this movie are chasing the children with firearms. It would make more sense for him to be running fast than just a slow motion run that we kind of see sometimes in animated movies that feature speedsters. Now, it is actually crazy when Dash started running on water. I mean, he's performing miracles out here. But this actually had me thinking about other speedsters from different animated movies, such as Metro Man from Megamind. Alright, so the people who wrote Megamind made this movie with an intense amount of Easter eggs. So for those of you who don't know, Metro Man is a superhero who is able to fly and move at super speed. But when I say that he's able to move at super speed, I'm not just using the word super lightly. When I say super, I mean super. In the beginning of the film, when he's talking to the villain, there's a glitch on the screen. And then when you skip to the end of the movie, we actually see that that skip was not a glitch in the screen, but him actually using his superpower to walk away without anyone noticing. That's how fast he is. Insane. He went on a literal vacation, essentially coming back into the frame when he was done. That is an insane amount of speed, damn near godly. I'd even go as to say that this is pretty much overpowered. No wonder they couldn't beat this guy. He had to retire because I don't think any villain, any hero would be able to touch him. Literally. I mean, for crying out loud, this guy is taking a sip out of someone's drink while he's using his super speed. So usually when people talk about the movie Megamind, they only point to Metro Man's speed, which is cool. However, there are other characters in here and other examples that I think deserve credit. Check this out. Titan is also a speedster. Huh, didn't think of that, did you? You thought it was only Metro Man. No, Titan also is a speedster. Remember, he got hit with some supernatural abilities as well. Now check this out. Megamind is a movie that you need to use sound for. You can't just watch it alone. The reason I say this is because when you listen, you basically hear the bass from the speed. Take a look at this. Do you hear that? Now, pause. Let's see how long it takes Metro Man and Titan to go from point A to B. Wow, that was literally only 1 second. They flew across an entire street in 1 second. I don't think Dash could keep up with this. As fast as Dash is, we have to remember that he's only able to run on land. And water, of course. While the people from Megamind are able to frickin' fly. Now that is not fair. So all of this got me curious about when Sonic the Hedgehog runs. How fast is he? I wonder if he's as fast as Dash from The Incredibles. I've noticed in the Sonic movies they do a thing where they don't make Sonic run at his full potential all the time, so we can focus on him a little bit easier. It's either that or Sonic's just trying to keep up with his peers, Tails and Knuckles. But there is a really cool scene from the Sonic movie that I wanted to show you guys. It's when Sonic does this.
You want to get fast? Let's get fast.
Okay, it looks like Sonic is way faster than Dash here, and possibly even Titan, because I didn't see them doing any crazy maneuvers like this. This is one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen. He literally left trails of his speed. What a show off, but this is still very epic. It seems that Sonic actually chooses when he wants to go at his full power, because he does not go this fast the entire movie. Sometimes he just wants to chill out, match people at their pace, or simply have fun. I feel like if given the opportunity to have a race, Sonic would definitely beat Dash. Shoot, he might even beat Titan, but can he beat Metro Man? No. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Metro Man is still in the lead in terms of super speed. His speed is unmeasurable. The man is literally able to freeze time. Now let's go on to an animal. What about a snail? Turbo isn't to be messed with, and I thought snails and turtles were always slow animals. But I guess in this movie, they're not playing. The name's not Turbo for nothing. Passing everyone on the field, the competition is smoked with that speed. Man, he's moving fast. I actually like how he's losing control of his body and his shell. Dang, Turbo is moving fast. The body and the shell are shaking and rotating as the snail zooms through. This is actually similar to Sonic the Hedgehog, where it gives off that glow. I've been wondering where that glow comes from for a while now. Sometimes when characters move super fast, the animation we see behind them is like a glow and trail. It looks super cool, it's very dope, but I still wonder where that comes from. Like in real life, if a human being was able to run that fast, would we just see like a blur on our screens? And by screens, I mean our eyes. Would it be a glow? I don't think so. I feel like it would be more like a blur. Wave your hand right now in front of yourself really fast, and what do you see? That's basically super speed. You're seeing a blur, not a glow. But these are super characters we're talking about, so I wouldn't assume that. Unless you had paint on you or something, but this is too stupid, let's move on. So yeah, if you want to compare everything on this list, don't even think about touching Metro Man. Metro Man has taken the cake because he's cheating. Okay, this is literally cheating. There is no comparison, no one can even touch him. Next up, I got Lightning McQueen, which is pretty obvious since he's the main character, but I'd actually like to shift that focus to another player in the film. His name is Storm. This comes from the Cars franchise, and Storm is one of the coolest vehicles I've ever seen. He is not slow. In fact, in the beginning of the film, they spend the entire time glazing this dude.
2% higher top speed.
Amazing! Piston Cup winner Chick Hicks here with the racer taking the circuit by storm.
Making his ego bigger than his trunk. Pause. Anyways, as we see him in action, he effortlessly passes everyone with no trouble. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat or even trying to go fast. To him, this is child's play. The only time it gets really serious is near the end of the film when he goes up against someone and his authority is challenged. This dude was on a streak of winning because he was so dang fast. In the beginning of the film, they said they were going over 200 miles per hour, and we're already multiple sequels into the car franchise. This is the third movie, so going over 200 miles an hour is a big deal. Yet he lost. You know who wouldn't lose in a speedy race? The Incredimobile. No, seriously, that's an actual entry on my list. As I was trying to find footage for Dash and his obvious speed, I stumbled upon the Incredimobile, and I was thinking to myself, well, if I'm showing a movie about literal cars, I might as well show this too, because it caught me off guard when I was watching the movie. This thing goes so fast, oh my glob. Seriously, take a look at this. I wish this was a character because this is stupidly fast. I'd say this thing has more speed than Lightning McQueen and Storm put together. Granted, there's a little bit of a boost, but you get my point. So I just wanted to briefly touch on this before we move on to the next one, which is Dash from The Incredibles 2. Now earlier I showed you how Dash was very fast in the first movie, but in The Incredibles 2 something has happened. We'll get to that later, but I do want to highlight that he still is moderately fast. Sometimes when the scene has nothing to do with him, he still surpasses everyone that's running in a straight line, which is a good attention to detail. However, as I kept replaying the scenes with Dash, I realized he got a little slower in Incredibles 2. Like seriously, take a look at this scene from the second movie. Is it me, or is that not how fast he can run? And we can't even make up the excuse that this wasn't a dire situation causing him to be lax. No, he should be running at his full speed like he did in the first Incredibles movie. Look at this! Let's time and compare the two together. Dash is running like a grandpa in the second film. Alright, so we need him to start back running as fast as he used to, because this ain't it. Look, that's not to say that this dude is slow. He's not slow. But in these scenes, it literally looks like he's running at a regular pace. It looks like a regular boy running. I thought this was a movie about superheroes. Dash, you have superpowers. Use them, for crying out loud. Use your speed. He can't even catch his own brother because he's so slow. Or maybe Jack is so OP. I don't know which one it is. But I don't want to confuse you for this list. I'm supposed to be showing you the speedy characters, the speedsters, as they coin it. But can we pivot away to an actual speedster like Sonic? Now that's what I'm talking about. Sonic is running like he's stepping on lava. It's so interesting though that Sonic says that no one has ever caught up to him, which implies that he's one of the fastest beings on the planet. And if no one could catch up to him, that literally means that he lets people think that they're on his level, aka his peers. He pretends to be normal, but in reality, Sonic can smoke anyone in this universe. Sometimes we see that the characters catch up to him even when he's going at his max speed, but these aren't regular characters. There's a lot of lore to this as to why these characters are able to do this. They're not just regular people catching up to Sonic, okay? These are the villains. But the reason that I like Speed in Sonic is because it is shot in real time. It's not slow motion, and it gives us time to feel the intensity of the scenes. Also, it just looks really cool. Yo, but check this. I don't know how these villains in these movies are even able to aim at him. That kinda doesn't make sense, especially if the target is moving that fast. Like imagine if you're in a military aircraft and you're trying to shoot something down and it's moving at the speed of Sonic. You're not gonna see anything on your screen or in front of you except a blur. You're basically gonna be aiming at a blur. And I don't think people get how fast these characters move. Trust me, if you were a villain in these movies, you'd be missing as well. We can't even make fun of them for having that Star Wars level aim. If I could pick any character on this list to go up against, I'd have a hard time choosing. I wanted to choose the turtle, but that turtle is faster than me. So, I had an idea. I wanted to give you guys some honorable mentions of other animated characters that are not necessarily coined as speedsters, but I believe they're still pretty fast. So I decided to add them on this list. I think a lot of people underestimate the speed of the villain from Kung Fu Panda 3, Koi. After all, he is a bull, and bulls weigh a lot. You wouldn't really expect a character like this to be able to move so flexibly, but guess again, this dude is doing so much fast movements, it would make you second guess yourself. And the scene that actually made me realize the speed of this dude is this. This is a classic bull charge, when the animal rushes forward and attacks someone. Do you want me to tell you in real life how fast these things actually clock in at? 35 miles per hour. That's faster than some of us are allowed to drive on the road. So I think I'd give this guy a pass as one of the speedsters. Because of his size and his speed, it actually kind of makes him kind of dangerous. Of course, he's not anywhere near anyone else's level on this list that I mentioned, unless you're talking about the Incredible, but that's not a character. But I'm serious, this guy is pretty fast with the combos. He even made some of the other characters who are way smaller and way faster have a run for their money. Also, another entry I wanted to include on this list comes from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Movie 2. Toothless is a speedster. Dude, he is so fast, and according to Google, he goes 40, 60, even up to 120 miles per hour. Dude, I remember watching this movie and the guy's just zooming past my screen, and I'm like, why don't people ever talk about dragons on this show and how fast they are? Thankfully, he's not that big, so he's not sluggish. I'm telling you right now, if I was in this show, I would actually go for a smaller dragon for the speed advantage. That way, they don't have time to see me and I can get to my destination faster. I don't know why people have such an obsession with getting a big dragon. Look, I get that they're cool, but it's not gonna get you to your destination that fast, man. At this point, we might even have to settle for a turtle dragon. And I'm telling you, that turtle from the DC Super Pets is actually probably one of the funniest entries. That's why I keep mentioning it on this list. That is insane. Man, watching all these movies makes me so inspired to make my own animated movie again. Do any of you guys have stories that you've ever wanted to tell, but you just didn't have the knowledge or means to make a project? You don't know where to start, you don't know what to do? Well, I created an audiobook for you, available for a one-time purchase, called The Survival of Creativity. Click the link in the description to get it. In this book, I go through how I, as a regular guy, was able to make a movie by myself with no experience, no degree, no network. Let's be honest, guys, the world is changing every day, and AI is making it become more frightening. People are losing their jobs, people don't know what to do, people don't know where to go. I got you. In this audiobook, I'm going to tell you exactly what works and what is popular. You need to know these updated tools and informations to survive in the world of animation and indie art. If you want to become independent, get this book, man. I'm gonna teach you what I know and what I learned. I made a lot of mistakes and I want to help people. Also, I just want to help you make your dreams come through in an ethical and affordable way. Again, click the link in the description to get it. It's on my Patreon for a one-time purchase. Anyways, moving on to another speedy character comes from the Dragon Ball Super movie. And the character that's moving fast is both of them, but I primarily want to focus on Gogeta. I understand that this is an anime and it probably deserves a list of its own, but I thought it was worth mentioning since it is a movie. But Gogeta is moving stupidly fast here. The blast from Broly can't even touch him. I also like the hand movements. This is very cool. It's almost like a ninjutsu in a sense. Yo, so remember how earlier I was telling you guys that they shoot Sonic running in real time? Well, I actually realized that Sonic can also see people in slow motion. I mean, just take a look at this. He's literally operating and functioning normally while the bots are moving slowly. The reason I went back to this scene was actually to look at Tails and compare his speed, but they didn't show too much of Tails in this movie. Obviously, Tails is the sidekick, but Tails' speed is still impressive. Look at the way he takes off. I like that. But pivoting away from that and going back to that hedgehog, he's definitely given us that main character energy. And Sonic was not kidding when he told us that no one can catch up to him, not even robots. But guys, I have a scientific question. Does this really make sense that he's able to move so fast here, even though he's just jumping? Like, wouldn't it require him to run instead of jumping? Or does his super speed ignores all physics? Like, let's sit down and think critically for a second. Sonic the Hedgehog's legs are what makes him move fast, correct? So how is him using his hands allowing him to transcend and still move at ridiculous speeds? I don't get it. This is just something I've been thinking about. I'm not picking this movie apart. Well, maybe I am nitpicking a little bit, but still, it looks like Sonic is really good with his hands, not just his legs. Pause. And obviously when he's skiing as well, which I have to say makes me think about the Star Wars aim I talked about earlier. Look, man, I get when Sonic is running at full speed, you can't catch him, and your aim is gonna be garbage. But this dude is literally skiing in a straight line. Sometimes he's zigzagging. All these robots have to do is shoot in front of him. Statistically speaking, you're gonna hit him once, but they miss so much. See, the problem in these movies is the villains always shoot at Sonic in the moment and they forget that he's a super speedster. So when they actually shoot at him, he's already 10 seconds ahead of them than what their eye saw. So the trick is, if they actually want to hit this dude, they gotta shoot above. They gotta shoot ahead. I mean, come on, man, this isn't rocket science. Maybe these villains need to take a course on how to actually be villains. Maybe these robots need more oil in their system because this is getting ridiculous. I'm tired of watching these movies and Sonic just dodging. Like, dude, you're telling me one little laser couldn't just hit him? And look, I get it, Sonic gets hurt in these movies. I don't want Sonic to get hurt, but let's keep it a buck, man. These guys gotta step up their game. You guys need to watch Sonic 3 because they did step up their game in Sonic 3. And oh boy, do I tell you, in that movie, he does not leave unscratched, okay? Well, he didn't leave unscratched in Sonic 2 or 1, but still, Sonic 3, guys, he does not leave that movie unscratched, okay? Things happen, and that's what we love to say. So if you're expecting me to talk about the Flash from the DC Super Pets movie, you're gonna be very disappointed. I'm not gonna include him because he didn't really do anything in this film at all. In fact, he was just the butt of the joke, like a lot of the heroes. We focused on the pets, remember? Just take a look at this guy. I can't include this. What is this? But there is another cool scene about that turtle. Man, Kalobi loves that turtle. So you guys know how Sonic had his slow motion episode? Well, this turtle also has a slow motion episode. This is phenomenal.
Here I go. Mrs. Fast Pants.
She took her time going through the scene. In fact, she's actually walking like a regular turtle. It looks like this is the pace she should have been going the entire time, but everyone behind her is slowed down. This is obviously some comic relief going on here. The background music is also a lovely touch that makes this scene hit. You know what's the funniest thing? I actually noticed something pretty insane.
Meow meow, bye-bye.
Even though she's walking regularly, she actually activates her super speed in the slow motion. That usually doesn't happen in these speedster films. Usually, if the speedster is going in slow motion, they're going regular or slow pace themselves. They don't actually activate a fast paced movement while everyone in the background is moving slow. Hopefully you understood what I mean. So seeing this turtle activate that level of speed shows that she might even be faster than Sonic the Hedgehog. No, she is, because Sonic, when he's going in slow motion, he's moving regularly, slowly, but the turtle is able to go even faster. Oh my gosh, we gotta give you this award, turtle. Anyways, guys, please leave a comment down below telling me who your favorite speedster is. I'm gonna be reading those comments, so you better let me know. Is it anyone on this list? Did I miss anyone? Please enlighten me, please.